mental health as something that is maybe has not been given much attention, most especially in this particular status quo. We are bound to hear from very many, very many people share their experiences about mental health and how it is being perceived, most especially here in Uganda, in Africa, and worldwide. I just had a very controversial, conversation with the CEO Abasi Mpindi today, this beautiful morning, over this particular topic of mental health, and he was like, you know what? I think you're coming from an approach of, biased approach. And I was able to actually give him reasons as to why we do have this particular question, because we did ask, is mental health a luxury? Yes, very many people have taken this to be, something luxurious in one way or the other. But I just don't want to be objective about this particular one. I'd rather be subjective about it and get to understand what do people think. And you definitely can be part of these conversations as we go by to actually unfold them. But for now, allow me to take a breather. When I return, I'll definitely be coming back with a jump start and see what is actually also happening, most especially in our dailies. This is a beautiful jam coming in from Justin Bieber. A title of the song is Sorry. I want to dedicate it to each and every single person who has asked for forgiveness and if not been granted it to you. A beautiful morning to you. Enjoy this beautiful jam.
You're listening to
I try, but I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time, cause someone call a referee. Cause I just need one more shot, have forgiveness. I know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. And by once or twice, I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem or myself tonight. Cause I just need one more shot, second chances. Is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now? Take every single piece of the blame if you want me to. But you know that there is no innocent one in this game for two. I go, and then you go out and spill the truth. Can we both say the words and forget this? Yeah, is it too late now to say sorry? Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Oh, is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now? I'm not just trying to get you back on me. Cause I'm missing more than just your body. Is it too late now to say sorry? Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now?
You're listening to AMCI Radio. You're listening to AMCI Radio, the coolest internet radio. AMCI Radio for African voices.
The Inter-University Media Challenge 2021 is here. This is an annual event which brings together students of journalism and media to compete and showcase talent in news gathering, production and presentation, at the same time learning from the expert trainers and journalists from the media industry. Be the next celebrated journalist in the country, like many that have gone through our practical and experiential trainings.
Kayonga Paul, NBS.
Mordecai Mulisa, MBS.
Olivia Komgisha, NTV, Sandra Twinobdio, NTV.
For more information, check out our website on www.mciug.org or call 0702 195 095 or visit our offices located at Tiropati, Level 4.
Music and your station playing on the background.
Online 24/7. The internet radio station for you. Listen to MCI Radio anywhere, everywhere. We are MCI Radio.
Ashensia, Steph London, Bunny Remix.
Tractor systems are offline. Number one for today's hits and all-time favorites.
Listen to The Puzzle every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Joseph El Shaddai on MCI Radio. The Puzzle, every piece in its position.
Say, oh my God, ngatuli wamu. And no matter what they say to sigala mumu. Naya gala to be with me. Woman, you know that I got the quality you need. Lachiba palam palam pin. If you wanna do the jindabao. Kade biga mo jina yese. Jealousy ya ibo kuti waji munse. My God, sanga ni bachala. No me gula baby ne sanga ngamatia. No puke ni milonga ze kadena. Na yani milonga ni moji fudenga adena. We got in the vibe, the tool in the limit. We got in the vibe, the tool in the limit. We got in the vibe, the tool in apology. We got in the vibe, the tool in apology. We got in the vibe, come in community. We got in the vibe, come in community. Faster we are move like who's any bology. Faster we are move like who's any bology. Got a love for you. Woman, I'm in a ganyo. Got a love for you. Everything up when I'm in love for you. Got a love for you. Woman, I'm in a ganyo. Got a love for you. Everything up when I'm in love for you. Nika kuweka kando. Supu, you are the queen of the jungle. You're my love, 10 of the bando. So pagala yo baby, unange pagala mbando. Girl, I never wanna say bye bye. Girl, I never wanna make you cry. Girl, you leave me now, you know I die. Yeah, you know I die. Girl, I never wanna say bye bye. Girl, I never wanna make you cry. Girl, you leave me now, you know I die. No, sweet banana. No, dongo mama.
A beautiful gem bringing us to exactly 26 minutes of 8 a.m. with the morning. Title of the song is Sweet Banana from a one legendary Jose Chameleon playing to you here on MCA Radio right about now. My name is Joseph El Shaddai, and of course, if you're just joining into the show, it is where we actually connect the dots and look into particular things with a lot of in-depth analysis and seeing able to actually how we can be able to mitigate and contain all these societal vices from our societies as well. At this particular moment in time, time, this is where I want us to actually go and delve into our jumpstart this beautiful morning, because we understand whenever you sleep, your brain tends to actually go in what we actually dub as, the hibernation mode. You tend to maybe forget, like any other car that needs to be restarted, jump-started, call it whatever that you want to call it. And today on the jumpstart, we basically ask one particular question, and if at all one gets it right, you're about to win some of the goodies that we give out here at the Media Challenge Initiative, Media Hub as well.
We know that it can be hard to get your brain moving after a long sleep. Jumpstart your brain this morning. They seem easy but logically challenging. The jumpstart on the puzzle, every piece in its position.
They might seem easy, but logically challenging. Of course, sir, this particular one is as simple as you can definitely say A, B, C, D, alphabetically. And for purposes of continuity, we tend to bring this question back, because last Monday we asked it to a couple of people and they totally failed. And I just want to give our people a chance to maybe get this particular one right. And today we still ask the same question that we asked on Monday: what has lots of eyes but can't see? What has lots of eyes but can't see? Go onto our jumpstart on our different social media platforms and be able to answer that particular one. Alternatively, you can use my WhatsApp number that is open. It is so much open, that is 0705 706655, 0705 706655. Answer that particular one. The first two people to actually submit in their answers and they are correct will definitely stand a chance to see that we can give you some of the goodies that we give out here at the MCI Media Hub as well. It is as simple as that. It is as easy as that. Just go ahead and answer the particular question so that we can definitely be good to go. I'll post this to my guests later on and see if at all they are also in check of being able to answer this particular one without cheating. I don't want them to Google, but we'll definitely see what's up. But we are still actually rolling and up and going still here on the puzzle.
As you took a nap all through the night, a lot took precedent. We gather for you what happened as we look into the dailies and provide broader coverage of particular issues. Right here on the puzzle, every piece in its position.
It is at this moment still where we actually look into the dailies and find out what took place, what took incident, while we were asleep, what actually happened, when you were offline, what happened, when you took a nap, what happened, and probably bring you up to pace on each and every single thing that goes ahead to happen. Shout outs to Singh and Shika. She's saying she's listening into the puzzle right about now from Makere University Business School in there as well. But starting off with a Nile post here, ADF behind bomb attacks, collaborators arrested. This is all that is coming in from police as well, because we do actually understand a couple of incidents took place over the past week. That was on Saturday where Digida Pork Joint was, was under attack, and a couple of people claimed their lives. And still on Massacre Road this very week, after 3 days, there was a bomb attack in a Swift bus as well. So police have linked the two separate bomb attacks in the country to the Allied Democratic Forces rebels currently operating in the Votalite eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo. So the police spokesperson, that is Freddie Nanga, said remnants of the bomb that exploded on Monday evening have given clues to security about the people behind these attacks, noting that ADF is responsible for this particular attack. So whatever you need to understand more about this particular story, you can definitely visit www.nilepost.co.ug and be able to be brought up to speed. Of course, President Museveni appoints Major General Don Nabasa, new military police commander in there. I think he is someone whose ranks have been raising. And of course, President Museveni speaks out on explosion on passenger bus as well. And still, President Museveni provides more details about explosion that hit a Swift bus as well. The Dubai Expo that is actually still going on till next year. The UTB allocated half of its budget to buy air tickets per diem for its senior officials. So whatever you need to actually know about that particular one, you definitely go and visit the Nile Post and find out what is actually happening, most especially in the Dubai Expo. I understand majority of us are lost track on what is happening in there. We were so much interested in the first days of the Expo, but I think now we've swifted our gears from the Dubai Expo. But moving on swiftly into the Daily Monitor, it is also starting with a very this particular headline that is not so much different from what Nile Post actually suggests. And of course, here they say inside ADF tell a threat over Ugandan neighbors, where the president has labeled the terrorists as pigs to portray them as sordid and unattractive to fellow faithful. But of course, the Libyan ex-warlord Taylor sues for pensions and of course gets benefits as well. DPP drops murder charges against Masaka Catholic priest. It should be remembered that there was a particular priest in Masaka that was, linked to issues related to murder. But now this particular one, Father Richard Mugisha, was, all these charges were scrapped off him. The regional director of the public prosecution in Masaka withdrew, of course, these criminal charges against Masaka Police Father Richard Mugisha, attached to Bisanje Parish, and Mr. Joseph Mutayomba, the chairperson of the security team at Bisanje village. So the police had preferred murder charges against Dio following reports that they were behind the killing of Ronald Cheyune, who was 30 years of age in October 13th, 2021. And at this particular time, we actually say that this particular father is now innocent, was of course found innocent on this particular case as well. But still in the Daily Monitor, looking at how things actually going on, 4 Colombian soldiers have been killed in retaliation for drug lords arrest army that is actually worldwide entirely. We are going to be able to actually understand what is happening from across the entire globe, leaving what is happening in Uganda and maybe getting our foot into the UK. Queen Elizabeth II cancels COP26 attendance on medical advice. I think the Queen is not in a very normal condition, and I think she has cancelled a couple of events. This is not actually the first one, but yes, I think it is on medical advice, and whatever is being advised is for the good of her health as well. But government U-turns on dumping of raw sewage in English rivers after huge backlash that is still coming in from the UK. But of course, looking into what is coming in from South Sudan, Sudanese deposed Prime Minister detained after coup is released. And of course, Donald Trump endorses Jair Bolsonaro as Brazil Senate recommends charges over the pandemic as well. So that is what is actually coming in, most especially across the entire divide. I think we are now in the know of what is happening from South Sudan, and of course looking into what is actually mushrooming here in Uganda. We'll definitely be able to come back and introduce to us our standpoint today, something that is related to mental health. What you need to know about mental health, what questions you have about mental health are going to be right answered here with my guest this beautiful morning.
This is MCI Radio, the biggest and hottest internet radio that everyone's talking about. MCI Radio, for African voices. You're listening to MCI Radio, the coolest internet radio. MCI Radio, for African voices.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The Inter-University Media Challenge 2021 is here. This is an annual event which brings together students of journalism and media to compete and showcase talent in news gathering, production and presentation, at the same time learning from the expert trainers and journalists from the media industry. Be the next celebrated journalist in the country, like many that have gone through our practical and experiential trainings.
Kayonga Paul, NBS.
Mordecai Mulisa, MBS.
Olivia Komgisha, NTV, Sandra Twinobdio, NTV.
For more information, check out our website on www.mciug.org or call 0702 195 095 or visit our offices located at Tiropati Level 4.
The hits just keep on coming.
Shensia, Steph London, Bunny remix. When you
Years of fresh hits, fresh talent, and connecting all universities. Download the MCI Radio app on Google Play Store, the home of the African voice, a free internet radio on radio.mciug.org.
Baby, cool up one time, Muddy Gully, then love me, I blem blem. I blem blem. Push a blem blem. I blem blem. Push a blem blem. Show me what you got. I blem blem. Show me what you got. I blem blem. All my girls see bad. I blem blem, BSC to Cali. I blem blem, one yo oh. Push a blem blem, baby girl you can. I blem blem, ooh yo oh. Push a blem blem, baby girl you can. Cool up, 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 cool up. You're my sunshine, sunshine, yeah. Cool up, 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 cool up. You're my sunshine, sunshine. I blem blem, show me what you got. I blem blem, BSC tonight. I blem blem, baby girl you got. Oh my baby one you oh. I blem blem, baby girl you got. I blem blem, ooh you oh. Push I blem blem, baby girl you got.
Timaya on this one. The title song is Blam Blam, a Blam Blam. Playing to you at exactly this particular time. It is 40 minutes of 8 a.m. in the morning. This is where we actually presume that each and every single person who has been traveling to work are already settled into their workspaces and they are now good to go. Whatever task that you have this beautiful morning, I think it is now time to actually execute it with a lot of, optimism and as well as energy, because we believe that once you do not work, you may not be able to live, because I understand even the Bible stipulates it clearly that as a man you need to sweat to be able to get what to eat at the end of the day. But it is the puzzle still. I want to send shout outs to each and every single person that is listening in, and those that are streaming off our YouTube channel. We welcome you aboard as well. One Chimera Moses, thank you so much for being part of the show on our YouTube channel. And of course, Jonathan Chetume is also streaming in as well. Meets got our answer right, and we want to congratulate you. I think you stand a chance to actually win some of the goodies that we give out here. This particular question has been up for 2 weeks and no one has actually gone ahead to answer it rightly. I hope you didn't actually consult Mr. Google because very many people have actually also missed that particular window that is open for you to be able to ask Mr. Google. I think now you've saved my guest. They're not going to be able to be put under a task on this particular one. So mates, statistics. If at all you can make your way to MCI Media Hub, you can definitely come and pick some of the goodies that we give here at the Media Challenge Initiative. But congratulations, you're actually the second winner of this particular context ever since the puzzle started. A few people have terribly failed on this particular one, and yeah, we want to congratulate you once again. Mr. Mitz, I really want to get your full names, your contacts. Probably you can drop them into the comment section right there so that we can follow up on you and see how we can basically get your goodies right there for you. But interestingly enough, this is where we want to actually get into our jumpstart this beautiful morning as we dissect a few issues related to mental health. Statistics coming in here from the World Health Organization indicates it very clearly that mental health is something that is not being given attention to, and many people in low and middle income countries face daily challenges, and their mental health has been actually additionally burdened, most especially by COVID-19 here in Uganda. So mental health is an active state of mind which enables a person to actually use their abilities in coordination with the common human tenets of society as well. In Uganda, I would actually say that mental, neurological, and substance use disorders are a major public health burden. And of course, depression, anxiety disorders, and maybe elevated stress levels are the most common ones, most times leading to suicide attempts. So Uganda, looking at statistics indicating here, is ranked among the top 6 countries in Africa in relates, of course, of depressive disorders. And of course, while 2.9% live with anxiety disorder, that was a report from the World Health Organization 2017, about 5.1% of females and 3.6% of males are being affected. So on this particular day on the puzzle, we do ask actually one particular question. We understand majority of the people, I don't know, but I've actually received this particular concern over time, that mental health is not something that has been welcomed or embraced. And if at all someone seeks to go and find mental health care, they are taken to be mad people for particular reasons. I don't know if that is true. We are yet to find out. But you can be part of the conversation on our standpoint today as we ask, is mental health a luxury or a necessity? Go onto our social media platforms. That is Twitter, that is Facebook, where we're streaming live. Our YouTube channel is also up and running so that you can definitely be part of this conversation as they go on to unfold as well.
The right to freedom of speech is the right to hold opinions without interferences. You do not need to be an expert to take a stand. What's your standpoint on our topic today on the puzzle? The Standpoint, your opinion counts. The right to freedom of speech is the right to hold opinions without interferences. You do not need to be an expert to take a stand. What's your standpoint on our topic today on the puzzle? The Standpoint, your opinion counts.
Anytime, any day, your opinion counts. You don't need to be an expert, and this is where we want to actually find out, is mental health a luxury or a necessity? And this is where I really want to bring in my guest today. I have one Christian Abraham Otabazi, who happens to be a mental health practitioner. He's going to be able to help us understand all issues related with mental health. We've had discussions about mental health, previously, but I find it so much important that this is one particular issue or topic that we need to continually address, because majority of the people might be having some limited knowledge about it, but a vast number still might be so much, ignorant about it as well. So I really want to appreciate the fact that he is here with me, and I welcome him onto the puzzle this beautiful morning. Good morning, Mr. Abraham.
Good morning, Mr. Shaddai.
How are you doing? And good to have you on the puzzle.
It's a good Wednesday morning, and I'm going to be here. Morning, listeners.
Get closer to the microphone.
Yes. Good morning, listeners from all across the world, Kampala, and every other part of Uganda and the whole world. My name is very simple, Christian Abraham Tawazi, and I'm a mental health practitioner.
Mr. Abraham, we are good to see you. So you can definitely be part of this conversation. If at all there is any particular question that you have to raise regarding mental health, this is the right time for you to directly participate in this particular conversation. Mr. Abraham, we've had a lot of issues concerning mental health, but we really want to also, first of all, contextualize the whole topic of mental health. Is it a separate kind of I would say, kind of a health that is separate from the health, issues that we have? And if you are to define mental health in its, simplicity, how can you define it?
Well, I'll start by the big elephant in the room, which is mental health a luxury? I'll try to denote. It is one important, very important aspect of our life that if ignored, it can affect all the other aspects of life.
Exactly.
Let me start by the simple definition of mental health itself. You're looking at it as not just a mere absence of illness, a state of well-being in which an individual is able to cope with the abilities and the stresses of life, work productively, make contribution to the community, and in that sense, I can say mental health is, in simple terms, how one feels about self, how one responds to the day-to-day demands of life, and how one, actively contributes to the community. Now, if one in those, there's a missing gap with the way you feel with yourself, the way you respond to the community, the way you handle the daily stresses of life, then a mental health issue comes in. You do not necessarily have to be at the extreme of the disorders, the mental health disorders.
Because over time, we've seen people do a lot of leisure activities. Someone decides to go to a gym even when they do not feel like they have to be there. Though have very many people go there because they really want to maybe cut weight, but others take it as a hobby. So the same applies to mental health. Very many people go and seek medical attention because they feel like, okay, I need to go and do that as well. But majority of the people think that you need to be at the extreme to seek mental health care. Is it the same case?
I'll give you a very simple scenario and example. For most of the people who were affected by coronavirus, COVID-19, in this pandemic, many of them will concur to you that when they went for the test, they were actually feeling, okay, you have these other symptoms, headache, but you're okay. You're positive, you're okay. And the moment the news is broken to you that you actually have COVID-19, it's as if you've signed your death certificate and you immediately there, you may even be taken into ICU because of the shock of the news. That is just simple to say. Your state of mind, your clear state of mind, has a very significant effect on every other aspect of life. Let it be your social, let it be your even health. So looking into that itself, you wouldn't just sweep mental health under the rug. Actually, in the current medical practice, they're looking at integrating mental health into every other aspect of health. Let it even be maternal health. That a mother goes to the hospital and maybe is going for antenatal care, and they have to screen if she's really okay, if she's really mentally healthy.
I would actually say that, mental health illnesses are the world's leading, cause of disability, affecting millions. And even maybe during, most especially crises like COVID-19. Of course, treating them is not an optional thing that we actually see. But I would say the number of people affected by these crises has nearly doubled in the past decade, and the number of people forced to flee their homes, whose jobs have been lost, a couple of them have lost their beloved ones, and you definitely think that their mental health is not in check. When you look at the World Health Organization, it actually estimates the prevalence of common mental disorders, something that has risen from 10% to 20%, and sometimes 10% can be into normal times when everything is being okay. There is no political disability, various things. But now, in the presence and prevalence of crises like COVID-19, this number has really doubled. Do you think that it is because of different crises and circumstances around us that we see mental health issues rising?
Well, I can say there are very many contributing factors to mental health issues. It may not be one particular factor to single out to say this is going to cause mental illness. Now we have all this whole pandemic. Yes, the numbers are rising. They are rising and they'll continue to rise if something is not done about it. But you look into what really causes mental health issues. I think that is where we should be focusing on.
Exactly. Maybe for purposes of someone who is maybe not in the know of what mental health is, the causes of mental health, and probably if you can bring us to speed of these particular effects and the consequences of mental health, I think we can definitely start from there.
Well, I'm going to tackle some of the causes one by one. One is it may be hereditary.
Wait a minute. I find that funny, though it might not be. Mental health being hereditary.
Yes.
How is that possible?
It is passed on from gene to gene.
Okay, I don't know why I'm laughing, but I understand you people, you will definitely concur with me. Mental health being something hereditary. We've seen a lot of diseases, infections that are hereditary, but then, okay, unless you explain to me.
Okay, let me put it on a simple, basic scale. Your genetical makeup.
So it's about the genetics?
Yes, genetical makeup, what really makes your body. Let me see, if you're susceptible to depression, you'll find like in the family lineage, at one point, maybe someone in the family had depression, and that predisposes you to depression. But I usually, in that regard of hereditary and genes, I usually say, well, the genes load the gun for you, but your lifestyle that you portray was the trigger.
So it's incumbent of you, what you do and how you actually perceive this entire information that is around you.
Yes. Let me say you're susceptible to depression and you are in a bad relationship, or your job is so stressing, or you are having a pretty bad time with your personal economy. You'll find like in most times it is going to put you at a higher risk of getting into depression than a person who is not predisposed by genes. So that may be one of the causes. So the other causes in society may be illnesses. For example, let me just put it on a very simple scale. Malaria. You've had cases whereby you've had cerebral malaria. The malaria was not treated properly, so it progresses to cerebral malaria. And once it affects the brain, it alters some higher centers of the brain, causing mental illnesses. That regard, you may have past experiences. Maybe a lady was raped, or an experience of robbery, or a near-death experience, which may expose you to what you call post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is also a mental illness. You may have poor nutrition.
So, okay, if I told you, listen again, this is where you need to actually get a pen and be able to write this, because some of the causes of mental health are probably, we might actually be facing them in society, but because we might be ignorant about these things, but now I've actually found out poor nutrition can cause mental health issues.
Yes.
So my people who feed on a command on a daily, can they be susceptible to mental health illnesses? Because Philip there, I think his nutrition is not that good. Philip, how is he able to be exposed to mental health illnesses?
Well, I would just have this to say: if you have interacted with a severe malnourished children, they are not mentally okay, and like some aspects of they have even retarded growth, which even may affect the brain development. And if it affects the brain development, so in return, in the long run, they you're going to have this child not acting fully to their capabilities. And some of them may be showing mental health issues. Like they find like they can't cope with the stresses of life.
Exactly.
Their memory is impaired. They can't seem to remember maybe some things in the long run or in the short run. So, and also their thinking is maybe slow. So those are some of the mental health issues that people tend to ignore. And people tend to focus more on, the adverse mental health disorders. Let me say like a person is running, is undressing, is maybe picking filthy stuff around the compound, and they think that's the adverse. No. By the time somebody gets there, this is what has happened before. And
so there is a gradual process, and this particular issue has maybe come from a series of happenings that have been going on.
Exactly.
Some of them might not be physical.
Yes. And regarding our society, that much of it is still believes in traditional healing. So you find like when somebody has been maybe affected by a minor mental health issue, and is instead of seeking help from a professional, they first ignore you. Just, you'll be fine. But in the long run, then you find like they have started, addressing, they are acting funny, then like, this is now Jojo coming in, this is Richard coming in. But I'm not entirely saying it does not happen. Juju may happen because the devil is a full-time worker. But I have this to say that something would have been done earlier that shouldn't have led to that. So most of these, the other, maybe I would say the current major causative trigger to mental health issues is maybe the COVID-related circumstances.
Before we get into what COVID has really brought into place, we are just going to find out some of the symptoms of, COVID, of mental health illnesses, and that will be shortly after this particular break. We're taking one, and when we return, we're definitely going to be looking at some of the symptoms. What are some of the traits that we can look at and see from afar that, El Shaddai is not okay, his mental health is not in check, and probably he needs medical attention at the end of the day.
The right to freedom of speech is the right to hold opinions without interferences. You do not need to be an expert to take a stand. What's your standpoint on our topic today on The Puzzle? The Standpoint, your opinion counts.
This is MCI Radio, the biggest and hottest internet radio that everyone's talking about. MCI Radio, for African voices.
Your day sounds better with your music and your station playing on the background.
Online 24/7. The internet radio station for you. Listen to MCI Radio anywhere, everywhere. We are MCI Radio.
Ashensia, Steph London, Bunny Remix.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Listen to The Puzzle every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Joseph El Shaddai on MCI Radio. The Puzzle, every piece in its position.
The Inter-University Media Challenge 2021 is here. This is an annual event which brings together students of journalism and media to compete and showcase talent in news gathering, production, and presentation, at the same time learning from the expert trainers and journalists from the media industry. Be the next celebrated journalist in the country, like many that have gone through our practical and experiential trainings.
Kayonga Paul, NBS.
Mordecai Murisa, MBS.
Olivia Komgisha, NTV, Sandra Twinobio, NTV.
For more information, check out our website on www.mciug.org or call 0702 195 095 or visit our offices located at Tiropati Level 4.
The hits just keep on coming.
Steph London Bunny remix. When you
Years of fresh hits, fresh talent, and connecting all universities. Download the MCI Radio app on Google Play Store, the home of the African voice, a free internet radio on radio.mciug.org.
Your face will like me so much when I'm working.
VTech the awesome.
1 for the party, 2 for the money, 3 for the honey, 4 for the 4 when you shake your bum 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 bum. See, me I like to party. Party with the boys I get money. Me I like to party. Party with the girls I get money with it. Go down when the music come up. Go down when the music come up. Then go down when the music come up. When the DJ gives them then they come up. Say me I like to party with Rashida and the Nancy. See me whining. Hold on, not talking in bottles. Say I like to party with Shakira and Beyonce from Miami. I like to chilling with Dulce and Jay-Z. Just go down when the music come up. They turn up like say we are raving up. Just turn up when the music come up. We are da-da-dee-dee-dee. For the party, 2 for the shawty, 3 when you shake your bum 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 bum. See, me I like to party with the girls make your body day. Me I like to party with the boys make your money with it. Go down when the music come up, go down when the music come up, then they go down when the music come up. When the DJ give them, then they come up. See me wine, see me dip below, see me dance to reggae and calypso. Dying bad, follow me one day you go enjoy. Oh, yeah. I'll just spray your money, make all the girls them worry. Oh baby, make we jolly. Today I naughty. Just go down when the music come up. They turn up like say we are raving up. Oh, just turn up when the music come up. We are da-da-dee-dee. Oh, yeah. Let me go, yeah. Go down and jump. Everybody know when the DJ. 1 for the party, 2 for the shawty, 3 when you shake your bum 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 bum. See, me I like to party with the boys make your money. Me I like to party with the girls make your money. Go down when the music come up, you go down when the music come up, and they go down when the music come up. When the DJ gives them, then they turn up. See, I like the way you looking at me. I beg you, look me up, easily. Swap, go down to the rhythm and the bass, oh, jaw. 1 for the party, 2 for the money, 3 for the honey, 4 for the 4 when you shake your bum bum. 1 for the honey, 2 for the money, 3 for the honey, 4 for the 4 when you shake your bum bum bum. You like to party with the boys like get money. You like to party with the girls like get money with it. Go down when the music come up. Go down when the music come up.
You're listening to MCI Radio, the coolest internet radio. MCI Radio for African voices.
Avenue connection, Yakamelting this. Everlasting baby cool alongside Irene Talent. For we speak about the real love later, you know, can't avoid it, can't. Send this.
You're not ordinary boy, you're really not from this world. Satisfaction guaranteed, you really hot. Me see you in my dreams, boy, never bamboo to love. Now back to some boy, me happy this time, happy you murder. You're going from me, say me, say no, no, cheato. See the kubatika, you are the air that I breathe. You're going to was almost a muli, me when bang and call. You give me energy, you really do me right. And then can you get
love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa waiter nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor
Kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa driver nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor
Situna ukenye chinyonyi mubanga chimanye titolindekanga twala tugende kwa wawelo wakwanga tulabe emigana mayanja introduce me to another life be my man be your wife sugar and spice honey you're sweeter and you're really nice yeah you're really nice get when you're moving like you light up my world you're like the sun up in the sky
I do remember the days when I'm searching for love. Now I got you, my girl. See the book and sorry, no matter who of them try to confuse me. This love is so precious. I cannot mistake this girl.
Kanun kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa waiter nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor
Kanun kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa driver nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor.
You're not ordinary boy, you're really not from this world. Satisfaction guaranteed, you really hot. They say you're in my dreams, boy, never bamutulo. Now I'm up to somebody, want me up with this, them I be you murder. Yeah, boy, I'm from Mosem, and Chiro. City Kubatika, you are the air that I breathe. Yeah, boy, I'm Tambo, Somosai, Muli, never banganko. Yeah, give me energy, you really do me right. Kanun kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa waiter nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor
Kanun kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa driver nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor. Nice to nice that I know you. Give thanks and praise to the Most High I found you. Nevertheless, me see the babies in your eyes. Could you come straight to me with my best love stories?
You're not ordinary boy, you're really not from this world. Satisfaction guaranteed, you really hot. We see you in my dreams, boy, never bamutulo. Now I'm up to somebody, want me up with this, them I be you murder. Kanun kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa waiter nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor
Kanun kayimyenga love letter kuva kuntobo y'umutima mu center kweyanzi jamu wa driver nzijanja bache nakuita love doctor.
Beautiful gem coming in from Eileen Tari. I don't know what's actually happening to this beautiful lady with beautiful vocals. Of course, she's featuring a one baby cool on this particular one, big size. And title of the song is Love Later. I want to dedicate it to all of you who actually used to write love letters, most especially in high school. And if at all you carried the habit at university and campus at the end of the day, and now for you, you become a legend. But anyways, it is actually a beautiful morning. And of course, it's exactly 8 minutes of 9 a.m. in the morning. And of course, the day is actually going on and of course, moving and shifting gears at the end of the day. But that doesn't forfeit us from moving. We are bold, collected, and energetic to actually face this beautiful day as well with a lot of energy, with a lot of optimism at the end of the day, seeing that, we need to actually live, but live with a lot of vigilancy and responsibility at the end of the day. We're coming to you live from the MCI Media Hub here in Kabalagala, of course, at Tirupati in Mazima Mall, making sure that we, amplify media innovations. We do have quite a lot of different services that we render here at the Hub. We do have a very nice state-of-the-art facility that caters for each and every single person, regardless of, your needs. We do have an event space that you can actually hire. We do have a production team, both audio and video, that you can definitely hire. We do have equipment when you definitely come to videography, photography, that you can hire. We do have a TV and radio studio that you can hire out and of course produce your vlogs, your podcasts, each and every single thing related to media and communication. This is a one sport center that you can definitely come and find out what we offer to you as well. For students who actually want to further their studies, most especially in media and of course communication, this is a space for you. We do have an academy just actually situated for you at the end of the day. So check us out. We are here making sure that we amplify media innovations, and we of course are looking at how we can build a community of people who are like-minded to actually see that we change narratives, most especially on the way African stories are being changed and portrayed, because we do believe that through journalism we can make this particular world a better place at the end of the day. But today on the puzzle, still talking about mental health and different other aspects related to mental health, we definitely need to find out some of the symptoms that we can look at and say, you know what, according to what he is doing or what she is definitely doing, mental health is maybe not okay. Her mental health might not be in a particular check. And are there certain traits, Mr. Abraham, that we can definitely look at and see that personally, or actually person A, person B requires to actually find out and seek medical attention from a psychiatric?
Well, I have this to tell you that like you can see, we have several diseases. Malaria, you have typhoid, you have these several other diseases, medical diseases. So when it comes to mental health, you will not single out to say this is one specific maybe symptom that will cut across, because there are over 28 mental health disorders. We talk of impulse control disorders, we talk of mood-related disorders, we talk of major psychotic disorders. But I will take you back to the definition of mental health. So, and that's why all the symptoms will just embedded in there, and like how one feels about one is self. How do you feel about self? How do you think about yourself? If you have suicidal ideas, if you have several running mood thoughts, then you're not mental healthy.
Exactly.
So that would require you to seek some attention from a mental health practitioner. How you respond to the day-to-day activities of life. If you're no longer contributing anything to the community,
so
let me say, maybe you just want to sleep all day out of a cause at the back of it.
Can mood swings be brought into this particular picture? Because we see a lot of young children, most of the times, throwing tantrums, boys and girls at home, having different mood swings, and we say, those are just mood swings. Can they be connected to mental health?
Well, for children, it is understandable. That is their brain development. That's a stage where that's the stage of their mind, where if it is either give me or not. Actually, some children at some point, all they want is want. Their brain is want. A part of the brain called the id. It is want. And if you frustrate them, they are going to throw temper tantrums in regards to that. And it may be understandable for children. But if you find a 32-year-old man,
an older person,
yes, throwing temper tantrums because let me say you have refused to give him a remote of a TV, that would, coupled with other symptoms, that would signify something in mental health. Then how does somebody relate with people around him?
So your relationship between people and your societal, traits also create a very big factor.
One is how you feel about yourself. Two is how you relate with people and your contribution to the community and how you handle the stresses of life. Let me say in the recent incident whereby this gentleman was crushed by a boda and he went ahead to knock him off, and which later led to a mob of boda riders onto him. There was a mental health thing to do with that. Why? Is because if you are scratched by a boda, which happens on a daily basis, everyone is scratched by a boda, and you come out and you're like, I need that amount of money, and if you don't pay, then you run over that person. Then we have to take interest in that. It is not just that very moment that has caused that outrage of that action. There's something behind that. Either you're displacing your anger towards this person, or several events have been happening that you feel now all the rage has to be rested onto this person. And with that in mind, you say like there was a bit of
There is something I really want us to tackle and look into as well, most especially in regards to this particular conversation. There is a lot of stigma that comes with mental health illnesses, and maybe this is one of the reasons as to why a number of people have not gone ahead to embrace, a mental health facilitation at the end of the day. Because aside from the financial barriers, there is still a stigma associated with, mental health treatment. If a person tells someone, or at work or at school or in any other environment, that they are going to see a doctor or a psychiatric or anyone in regards to mental health, like if at all I tell Philip there that, you know what, I'm going to visit a psychiatric to see if at all my mind is in a check, the other person is going to wonder, what is wrong with El Shaddai? Is he, okay, a good dalu or what a good dalu? And followed by the gossip spreading around the school and workspaces. Some of us do not actually find it so much okay to share these experiences with people. Recently, I had a friend of mine who actually used to, I would say, pour out his heart and emotions of his WhatsApp statuses. And as someone who was so much following his statuses, I actually thought that there is something wrong with this person. The first day, he wrote something, and maybe majority of the people didn't see it as something. The next day, he posted something still connected to the first status. And if at all you connect these dots together, if at all you're so much keen, you definitely think that there is something wrong with him. So as a person like that might not come out broadly to speak his mind out because of the bias and the stigma that could definitely come from, sharing to various people. Should we say stigma is one of the reasons as to why people have not come out to share out and pour out their hearts?
Well, I'll begin by saying, out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth speaks.
The mouth speaks. But in regards to stigma, I think you put it into the societal perception of mental health, that is one. Then the myths attached to it. One, there's a myth that when somebody has a mental illness, that's a sign of weakness, like they are mentally weak. Two is there's a myth that when somebody is mentally ill, they will never get well. There's a myth that when somebody is mentally ill, they will harm
others.
So, but not every other mental illness resolves around that.
Probably you could be one of those people that think mental health illnesses are not cured. You might actually think that whoever actually has a mental health disorder could definitely go ahead to harm others, and different other misconceptions. And I think one of the misconceptions that could come into this particular one in regards to this conversation is mental health being a luxury. I think that is another myth that people definitely know.
Definitely no, it's not a luxury at all. If you find yourself in a position whereby you're thinking of killing yourself, that's not a luxury. Who would have the luxury of taking life? One's life. It's not a luxury at all. If you find yourself in a position whereby you are withdrawn from society, instead of working, you are closed up indoors, you're not contributing anything to society, it's not a luxury to talk about that way.
I really want to understand. Okay, I might be asking a lot of questions in a row, but I might forget most of them. But I really want to understand, towards what stage of mental health, wellness, can someone say, I now need to actually go and seek medical attention? Is there a particular stage?
I'm going to bring in one disorder, and I'll talk about the commonest, drug abuse. Let me just use drug abuse. You start by taking one bottle or by puffing one cigarette or one joint of marijuana or one shot of something, and your body gets to tolerance whereby that you're taking in that amount can no longer have an effect on the body. Let me say you're taking alcohol, maybe 2 bottles, and you feel happy and you sleep off.
Okay.
you get to a point whereby those two bottles are no longer enough. Now you graduate to 3, to 4, to 5. Now you find almost everyone now is talking about Negundi, Chichi. Why that drinking that much? Why is it that you're drinking that much? You find you're now inconveniencing people around
others.
You. Now, if it comes to affecting your work, if it comes to affecting people around you, and you don't have to let it go to that stage. If you are using such, maybe alcohol or drugs, to curb off the stress that you have or any other challenges that you have, that is enough for you to go and seek out mental health help from there are several practitioners in society. Even I think currently most HR managers are being trained how to handle some minor mental health related issues at work, maybe some stresses related to work. So you can prevent it from going to the extreme of you now having maybe hallucinations, you're having illusions, you're having all these tremors because of alcohol, and in the end you're getting addicted to these drugs. So you can prevent it from going to that end.
That extent.
Yes.
Well, for someone who's just joining into the conversation, we are talking issues related with mental health. It has actually seen an unprecedented spike over the past 2 decades. And if at all it is not something that we need to address, probably we could see another escalation, most especially in suicidal cases and several other consequences that come with this particular disorder. But we are here to be able to connect these dots and find out how possibly can we eradicate mental health issues from our societies, and possibly look into the aspect of being able to seek medical attention even when you feel like you're okay. Because there is a time that is going to come and you're okay today, and yet tomorrow you will not be fine. Should you wait for the worst to happen, or you should definitely go ahead and seek medical attention in maybe once a week, twice a month, or once a month, or probably twice in a year. I really want to understand, is it something that we need to be able to actually do each and every single now and then? Because we definitely need, me personally, I think the solution to mental health illnesses is to see that, mental health is part of our health. Very many people have disregarded mental health issues from health. As you go and, get, let's say, malaria drugs to see that you can fight malaria, you definitely need to also embrace seeking medical attention when it comes to mental health and well-being at the end of the day. So, Mr. Abraham, I really want to understand. Various people actually come out and say, for me, I'm okay. I'm not, the conversation I've had with Mr. CEO today in the morning was a little bit a heated one. And he was like, El Shaddai, when you say mental health being a luxury, I think you're coming from a biased point of view. Is it the case, or it is the reality?
The reality of the matter is that mental health is being ignored. It's not being seen as much of a great impact, because
so when I come out and say is it a luxury or is a luxury, and I portray it as a fact, am I true or am I wrong?
Totally wrong, because the reason why it is perceived as a luxury is because most of it and greatly does not affect us physically. And our African perception, unless you're feeling pain, that's when you never go to the hospital. So if it's not maybe like an accident that you've broken your leg, you have to go to the hospital. Now, if you're there, you're depressed, you're feeling real low for more than 21 days, still you're just being perceived as weak, lazy, you don't want to work, but you're not being perceived as somebody who needs help. So that's why it is perceived in that of a luxurious way.
I mean, people who go and seek medical attention, should we say that they are at the extreme of seeking medical attention, or it is something that they are doing for their own good at the end of the day? So that people who actually see it as a luxury should definitely not know that for you to go and seek medical attention, you have to be at the extreme of throwing stones and beating up everyone around you.
Well, whereas would wish to be in mental health practitioners would wish to be in the forefront of helping out every other person that has mental health challenges. Our approach is more of the primary one, which is prevention. So if we can have less people being affected mentally, then we are okay. So if we can look into a preventive approach that people are going to live in their communities and they are okay, they are at work, they are okay, and they are being productive to the nation without necessarily having mental health issues, then we are okay. But when it comes in to a point whereby we have to help, then it must be incorporated with every other kind of health service. I talked about maternal health because recently we have very many cases of postpartum depression coming in. That is depression in relation to birth, which comes in usually and mostly after birth. The woman gives birth, but feels so much in a way that they hate themselves, they perceive themselves as a bad mother, and they end up even not breastfeeding the child. So if you are having it in that kind of sense way, and when you look into the current healthcare system whereby we want to focus on the physical or medical part of it, and we kind of neglect what is really causing all this, because you'll find like somebody comes to your room, to your examination room, and they have headache.
Exactly.
Their eyes are swollen and red, and you quickly get into prescribing all these analgesics and everything to curb the headache, but you haven't addressed the elephant in the room. What is causing that? What kind of stresses are they having? Have you taken time to sit with them and readdress that? So in the long run, just because it's not being incorporated in the general healthcare system, it is perceived that of a luxurious way.
Well, I just actually think that each and every single person is now getting the right answers right, the right questions right, and most of the questions that you've been actually asking yourselves are probably being answered here. We're definitely going to take a short musical break, and when we return, we'll definitely be able to look at how possibly can we navigate this particular crisis and see how we can curb it, and looking at maybe how we can, create awareness about mental health issues so that people do not perceive this as a luxury at the end of the day. A particular one that we are definitely going to look at, most especially after this particular break at the end of the day.
MCI Radio. This is MCI Radio, the biggest and hottest internet radio that everyone's talking about. MCI Radio for African voices.
Makerere University,
Kampala International University,
Uganda Christian University,
Bara University of Science and Technology,
Chambogo University,
Bugema University,
Uganda Matters University,
Clark International University,
International University of East Africa,
Islamic University in Uganda,
Gulu University,
Uganda Technology and Management University,
Ndeje University,
Mumba University,
Cavendish University Uganda,
Muni University,
Ositema University,
Victoria University Kampala,
Mountains of the Moon University,
Bishop Stewart University,
African Rural University,
International Business, Science and Technology University,
Kabale University,
Kampala University,
Livingstone International University,
Mutesa Waniro University,
King Caesar University,
Kumi University,
Lira University,
Africa Renewal University,
St. Lawrence University,
African Bible University,
Metropolitan International University,
Soroti University,
Advanced International University,
Kaiwa International University,
Uganda Pentecostal University,
All Saints University,
Angole Western University,
Ibanda University,
University of the Sacred Heart Uganda,
Stafford University Uganda,
Valley University of Science and Technology,
Tim University,
Mietiana Agrovate Institute,
Nsaka University,
Osogo University,
Makerere Business Institute,
Wonkat School of Journalism,
Multitech Business School.
MCI Radio brings us together all over Uganda.
MCI Radio for African voices. This is MCI Radio, the biggest and hottest internet radio that everyone's talking about. MCI Radio for African voices.
The Inter-University Media Challenge 2021 is here. This is an annual event which brings together students of journalism and media to compete and showcase talent in news gathering, production and presentation, at the same time learning from the expert trainers and journalists from the media industry. Be the next celebrated journalist in the country, like many that have gone through our practical and experiential trainings.
Kayonga Paul, NBS.
Mordecai Mulisa, MBS.
Olivia Komgisha, NTV, Sandra Twinobio, NTV.
For more information, check out our website on www.mciug.org or call 0702 195 095 or visit our offices located at Tiropati, Level 4.
Systems are offline. Number 1 for today's hits and all-time favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The hits just keep on coming.
Steph London Bunny remix. When you
Years of fresh hits, fresh talent, and connecting all universities. Download the MCI Radio app on Google Play Store, the home of the African voice, a free internet radio on radio.mciug.org.
Your face will like me so much when I'm working.
Girl, I'm hallucinating.
You're listening to MCI Radio, the coolest internet radio.
Girl, I'm hallucinating for your love. I'm breaking. Sometimes, girl, we be relating. Nah. Let me be your Superman. Nah. Let me be your master plan. Nah. Girl, tonight I'm in your corner. Umulungi, baby Bambi, don't they come to baby lonely? Agawalai, mumutima there's a crisis. Girl, I can't resist your love. I say blood pumping, heart panting. For your loving, girl, I'm lonely. There is counting when you come in, I'm calling. That you can't resist my love. You're my one and only. Never leave you lonely. Girl, I'm never letting go. Nah. Let me be your Superman now. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mozambique, Mr. Barra.
Quero ser eu o homem que dorme colado a ti. Quero ser eu o homem que você ama. Quero ser eu o homem que você chama de amor. Quero ser eu o pai que os teus filhos chamam. Às vezes me vejo sozinho sentado a pensar em ti. Te juro, miúda, se me deixas entrar eu não vou sair. Você tem melho, você me tem na mão, comanda meu coração. Ai, você me cuida, minha coisa fofa. Te amo, baby, então casa comigo.
Let me be your Superman. Ladies and gentlemen, from Zimbabwe, praise
Uchipopotaka uzazunga chiso nekuti nyaya yangu inyaya yerudo. Shiri mumoyo mangu mudi wazigombe.
You're listening to AMC.
Let me
be your superman. Let me be your master plan. Girl, tonight I'm in your corner.
You're listening to AMCI Radio, the coolest internet radio. AMCI Radio for African voices.
Girl, I'm hallucinating for your love, I'm breaking. Sometimes, girl, we be letting. Let
me be your superman.
Be your master planner. Girl, tonight I'm in your corner. Baby Bambi, don't they come to Babylon? I go a lie, Mumutima, there's a crisis. Girl, I can't resist your love. I say blood pumping, heart pumping. For your loving, girl, I'm lonely. There is counting when you come in, I'm calling. That you can't resist my love. You're my one and only. Never leave you lonely. Girl, I'm never letting go. Let me be your superman.
It's a particular jam that I would definitely listen to over and over again, and I must actually say that it would definitely live rent-free, most especially in the systems here at MCA Media Hub. It is the one that comes in from a one Jay Brazer, and of course Mr. Bao, and of course Waiki Bender, our very own here in Uganda. It was actually done at the Cox Studio Africa, I think a couple of years ago. If at all they are not 5, they are about 4 years ago in this beautiful one. It was a very beautiful masterpiece being collaborated together, produced together. If at all you watch the Cox Studio series, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But Waiki Bender, Jay Brazer, and Mr. Bao gave it justice. And I must say it is one beautiful jam that is so beautiful to hear and listen to, most especially to the ears. Bringing us to exactly 37 minutes of 9 a.m. in the morning. It is still the puzzle with yours truly, Joseph El Shaddai, here at MCA Radio, making sure that we connect all the dots and place each and every single piece in its particular position. They're still tackling issues related with mental health. But before we delve into bracket what could be the solutions in here, we definitely want to look at, yesterday, today, what actually took precedent on this beautiful day, the 27th day of October. A couple of years ago, very many years ago, it could be little years or few years ago, and we'll definitely see what's up at the end of the day.
The past shapes the future. Get to know what happened when, where, and how on this day. Yesterday, today, on The Puzzle, bringing history to life. Stay informed, stay safe. The Puzzle, every piece in its position.
We're looking at history here as we actually intend to bring back history to life, and putting life back to history. It is one thing that actually brought us back into the know and finding out what actually took precedent over a couple of years, and of course looking at what is coming in here from research. Of course, on the 27th day of October in 1985, Whitney Houston earns her first one hit with Saving All My Love For You. Whitney Houston was the daughter of soul singer Cissy Houston and niece of pop star Dionne Warwick, who actually played actually her vocal gifts and the professional nurturing of her well-being connected to family into superstardom of a kind rarely matched before or since. So, a near unknown prior to this particular one, of course, written by this particular one, I would say a near unknown prior to the release of her debut album, Whitney Houston. She shot to stardom when her first chart-topping hit, Saving All My Love For You, on the Billboard Hot 100, which was written by the team of Michael Mercer and Gary Goffin, who had teamed up previously on Diana Ross in 1975. That wasn't the only incident that took place. And of course, looking into what comes into the inventions and science, in 1984, still on this particular day, infant receives baboon Heart, as well at Loma Linda University Medical Center in Loma Linda, California. Dr. Leonard Bailey performs her first baboon to human heart transplant, replacing a 14-year-old infant girl's defective heart with a healthy walnut-sized heart of a young baboon. This is actually what happened recently. I think there is a team of scientists who actually matched a human, they matched a pig's kidney to a human being, and it was a successful actually a surgery in there. So a couple of years ago, there is an infant who was given a baboon heart, and it was successfully executed in there. So it is not actually something new. This is why we actually delve into history. Most people might think it is the first thing that has ever happened. As they always say, history repeats itself. I think it is true as well. But moving on into USA 2001, George Washington Bush signed the Patriot Act on this particular one. And of course, he went ahead to sign this particular one. An anti-terrorism law drawn up in response to the attacks on the Pentagon and the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001 as well. A couple of different incidents happened, and I pretty much assume that you as well as an individual, you might have seen a number of things happening, mostly on the 27th of October. Any year, it could be 2020, 2019, 2011, 2003, 2001. It could be a birthday that you're celebrating. It could be a day that you were wedded or proposed to, and a couple of different things that you cannot live to forget on this particular day. That's why we always bring history back to life as well.
The past shapes the future. Get to know what happened when, where, and how on this day. Yesterday, today, on the puzzle, bringing history to life. Stay informed, stay safe. The puzzle, every piece in its position. The past shapes the future. Get to know what happened when, where, and how on this day. Yesterday, today, on the puzzle, bringing history to life. Stay informed, stay safe. The puzzle, every piece in its position.
You're still listening to The Puzzle, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're catching the conversation from, or those that are listening to us via our MCA radio app that you can definitely get from the Google Play Store, and maybe for those who use iOS phones, you can capture it from the Apple Store and be good to go as well. Those that are following the conversation off our YouTube page, you definitely welcome as well. Those that are also getting us off our Facebook, welcome aboard. Interestingly enough, one thing that is so much beautiful about this particular radio station is that you can definitely listen to it wherever and whenever. It is a particular platform for the African voices, and we strongly do believe that through conversations we can definitely change mindsets, we can change our conversations, we can change different people's perceptions towards different things, and a couple of other things that we can definitely talk about or think about at the end of the day. So recommend a friend to download the MCA radio app from the Google Play Store, and they will definitely be good to go, because we definitely do believe that this world that we are living in is getting so much digital, and the speed at which it is taking, you definitely don't want to be left out, because there's gonna come a time where you do not have the guts to run after this particular world, because it would have actually gone very far. So it is time as of now that you can definitely recommend a friend to download the app, and they jump onto this particular digital world. At the end of the day, in there is an option of you sending shout outs, there is an option of you being able to actually recommend and do various things as you send us feedback on the go, and we'll definitely be receiving it as well. Our people that are getting us from South Africa will actually appreciate your endeavors, and yes, your willingness to listen in each and every single day as well. Those that are receiving us from Nairobi, Kenya, Rwanda, DRC, Congo, Burundi, South Africa, Australia, Denmark. Shout outs to our partners, the DW Academy in Germany, CASA, CASA, as well, the Steve Tank. Welcome aboard as well. Thank you so much for the support and making sure that this actually exists. And special shout outs to the Media Challenge Initiative for these great innovations that we actually see each and every single now and then. But at exactly 45 minutes of 9 a.m. in the morning, we just left with about 15 minutes to the top of the hour. This is where we want to actually get our concluding remarks, most especially on this particular topic that we've been able to discuss. And Mr. Christian Abraham Mutabazi is here with me to definitely see that we connect these particular dots. Facts about mental health, it should be noted that mental health is more than the absence of mental disorders. You do not need to actually find or see a disorder onto your body to be able to seek medical attention. And maybe the other thing about mental illness or mental health as well, mental health is an integral part of health. So indeed, there is no health without mental health. So those are some of the amazing facts that are coming in from the World Health Organization. One that is so much important is that mental health is determined by a range of socio-economic, biologic, and environmental factors as well. So cost-effective public health and intersectoral strategies and innovations exist to promote, protect, and restore mental health as well. And this is where I want to bring in Mr. Abraham to actually find ways of how we can mitigate these particular ones through maybe various activities that we can play as society, and maybe see how we can interchangeably contribute to this particular vice in society. How can we actually achieve this?
Well, it's not rocket science, or it's not so hard to tackle, to be mental healthy. One is the first thing that I tell people is get your body moving.
To get the body moving?
Yes. At the end of the day, after full day's work, you find your body is tensed up. Have gone through a lot of issues. You've had issues with the boda guy, with the taxi guy, at work. You've gone home and your body is fully tensed up. Get your body moving. You can join a gym class, or you can take walks around, or you can dance in your own house. You can get to work out at least every day. Shake up your body for at least 30 minutes to relieve off that tension of the body. And with that, that's the first step. Secondly is the people around you. Surround yourself with very positive people. Your social network should be so encouraging that you do not need to have to get home and again you're falling into depressing people. And you have to also look into your sleep pattern.
So that sleep also really do matter.
Yep.
There are those that will definitely tell you, I sleep at midnight and by 4 I'm awake.
Fine. We have two types of sleepers. We have the short sleepers and the long sleepers. But a good night's sleep, a good night rest is really important.
How long can it be?
Maybe before you get there, I came across a gentleman who was a truck driver. He had not slept for 4 days and he had constant headache, which was not responding to these other analgesics and painkillers. And I remember by then when we instructed him to have a rest, after 8 hours of sleep, the headache was resolved without necessarily taking these painkillers. So what I'm trying to say is, whereas you have various times in which we sleep according to your body rhythm, but it's so important to have a good night rest. I'm calling it rest because it may vary. Your rest may be 6 hours, my rest may be 8 hours, so whichever way, have a good night rest. Then you also have to look into something like cutting out bad habits.
When you talk about bad habits, I understand every human being has habits.
Yes.
What are those that are categorically put into the aspect of bad habits and good habits, and how do they contribute or factor to mental health disorders?
Let me bring to you a very funny minor mental health disorder. We call it kleptomania.
How does that operate?
It is just an impulsive urge to take things which do not belong to you. Okay, simple term, stealing.
Okay. Okay. I must say.
Sometimes you steal something which you do not even want to use. And how does it develop?
I really want to understand. Personally, I don't know if this is a... I don't know if it's a mental health disorder, but most of the times I happen to like get so much in touch with when someone gives me a pen, mostly pens. This is something to do with pens, and I end up going away with a pen. When we get into places whereby we sign somewhere, I end up having the pen. Is it a mental health disorder? Is it something that I need to actually work on?
I can tell you that habits are developed. It is easy to develop a habit within 21 days. If you do something consistently every day for 21 days, let it be whichever activity you're doing, it will develop into a habit. So, and you may find like now that habit starts shifting to other things. Maybe you started with a pen. This time you're going to something else. God knows.
I think I need to seek medical attention.
Yes, so cut out those bad habits that you're coping. It may even be cigarette smoking. Said it, as socially valid eventually graduates. You may look into alcohol dependency. Cut out those bad habits. Some people have bad habits of just fantasizing with women and just want to sleep with them, and that's all. And in the long run, it drains you of your emotions and affecting people around you. So you may find like somebody is thinking of contemplating suicide because of a heartbreak, which you caused out of the bad habits that you have of shifting from one person to the other. So cut out the bad habits. Get a new hobby. That's also something that can... And I'm talking about the primary prevention models that somebody can do. You don't need any rocket science to do this. You don't need any drug to do this. Get a new hobby. You can look into tailoring, knitting, reading a novel, swimming, a new hobby. And give yourself time. Several times somebody will run through the day, all day, and they will not have that time to think about themselves,
Exactly.
Sit down with yourself and you talk to yourself, that personal talk. So give yourself time. It helps a lot. Helps recover a lot. And when you are getting to stages whereby you feel you are starting to feel maybe like withdrawn, you're having some suicidal thoughts, you're having some unreasonable thoughts that are coming to you, you're seeing things which other people are not seeing, maybe hallucinations, then you need to seek out mental help from a mental health practitioner. That is now where we handle it in the secondary level. Then, if you have been having these mental health issues and they're not being resolved, then you might have to consider rehabilitation into a rehabilitation facility. There are several of them around, and that's what I can say about tackling mental health issues. The primary, the secondary, then the tertiary.
Interestingly enough, of course, you just had that right. Basically, we are I won't say we are on a journey of seeing that we create awareness about this. And probably, if at all you've been listening through, you've now been able to actually pick a leaf or two and be, in the aspect of understanding how definitely these things do actually work as well. But we definitely want to also delve into the world of sports and find out what actually is happening in there and see what is mushrooming so that we can definitely be in the know as well.
Are you a sports fan, lover of soccer, athletics, boxing, rugby, all to what happens in the world of sports? Stay tuned onto The Puzzle right here on MCI Radio.
looking into what is coming in from the world of sports at exactly 6 minutes to the top of the hour, we want to actually find out what is happening in there. Of course, looking into what is happening here at the home of 256, the Parliament holds AC Villa Park composition, as well as the drama, West Nile Derby, characterized by fun drama as well. Busoga aim to also frustrate the KCCA machine, and of course, Wakiso Giant Age Police from Maiden League win as well. That is what is coming in from the Uganda Premier League here in Uganda. But moving on to the international scene, there is a done deal clause, of course, whereby decorated man step away from joining Manchester United anytime soon. There are rumors that Zinedine Zidane will be replacing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after a very convincingly win that was so much embarrassing over the weekend from Liverpool as well. But however, still rumors are coming in and indicate that probably this particular one will not happen as soon as it is expected. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might be given another time to actually see that he can prove his presence at United in there. But of course, Everton's plan is also maybe looked into. Which particular plan? And definitely there is a plan to beat Aston Villa and Tottenham to 8-figure, English Premier League here as well. Manchester United have doubled the offer to sign 42 million player. A playmaker, whatever player they are talking about, you definitely want to find out as well. Liverpool and Nike are about to make their next move, and special guests could be involved in this particular one. Whatever you need to know about it, you definitely find it in the www.newsnow.uk as well. Newcastle United prepare a major 11 million pounds a bid for World Cup winner, makes sensational tune decision in this particular one as well. But that is what is coming in. Alan Shearer instructs Newcastle to make 3 January transfers to actually avoid relegation, as well as Paris Saint-Germain star Marquinhos reveals just how close he came to Chelsea transfer. Jose Mourinho looking to do what Mikel Arteta could not do at Arsenal with a 17 million pound transfer offer that is being given to him as well. So that is some of the things that are coming in, most especially in the world of sports, for you to be able to actually get to know about all these particular ones.
Are you a sports fan, lover of soccer, athletics, boxing, rugby, all to what happens in the world of sports? Stay tuned onto The Puzzle right here on MCI Radio.
I think this is a time where we have to actually make way for the talk of the trends with Ken and Olinda. But I just want to appreciate each and every single person that has been part of the puzzle from wherever you've been part of it. And I want to also appreciate my guests for actually making time to come through and draw some insights on this particular important topic that majority of the people disregard to be so much important. And probably I would definitely want to get your parting shots, Mr. Abraham, concerning this particular topic before we call it a wrap.
Well, my parting shots are just so simple, is that if you are out there and you feel there's a need for you to seek out mental health, please go and do as early as possible. And I usually encourage people to have what you call the serenity prayer. It's just simple. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I know I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. If you go by that simple prayer, you have it in your daily activities. It helps a lot. Helps you maneuver a lot of stresses in community. Otherwise, I remain Christian Abraham Mutawazi, a mental health practitioner.
Thank you so much for coming through as well. I would say mental health is fundamental to our collective and individual ability as humans to think, emote, and of course interact with one another. Also earn a living and enjoy life as well. On this particular basis, the promotion, protection, and restoration of mental health can be regarded as a vital concern of individuals, communities and societies throughout the entire world. So it is so much integral for us to find ways of how we can, make an inclusion between our healthy systems and see how possibly we can integrate mental health in all different other aspects of health at the end of the day. I want to actually thank each and every single person once again. Thank you so much. Those would be my last parting regards. I want to leave you with this particular jam coming in from Timaya. Title song is Sanko. Enjoy it as you enjoy the rest of your day as well. Coming up next at 11 a.m. we'll be talking the trends with Kenan and Linda and different other subsequent programs that are lined up for you here on MCI Radio for African Voices as well. The World Lounge with Ishak will also be coming through as well as that. But other than that, be blessed and have a fabulous day ahead of you.